Hey, what's up guys? Thank you for tuning in. Today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Earthrise exclusive pack from Amazon. This is the Earth Mode Deluxe class figures of Ironhide and Prowl. Again, this is exclusive to Amazon. As of the making of this video, these figures are no longer available, but I do hope that there is some more effort made to make these figures widely available, especially overseas. I know that the availability on some of these Earthrise exclusives have been pretty abysmal, especially for people not in North America, so hopefully that gets some fixed up. But with that out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and get covered in these figures. So for all of the Prowl fans, I do apologize because we're gonna be starting with Ironhide. So again, this is Ironhide, the Earth Mode version. This is a heavily retooled version of the Siege figure. So we're gonna go ahead and just straighten him out. And we're gonna start this out with a comparison to his Siege buddy. Here are the two figures together. This guy does have more of a round look to him than the Siege version, which I think is fine. It's totally preference. This kind of reminds me again more of G1, where this is more of a Neo-Classics Ironhide. This is an example of the Siege version and the Earth Mode version both having pros and cons. I really like both of them. Just because I have this doesn't mean I'm going to be getting rid of this Ironhide. I think it's still a fantastic Classics Ironhide. Another big change you'll see immediately is this guy has this big ass panel on the back where Siege Ironhide does not. That's because there is a bit of parts forming to this new Ironhide because of the incomplete truck mode that it makes. So by way of fixing that, most of the top of the van mode is a removable shield. So it can peg on the back here, and then it can also peg up on the shoulder or the forearm. But again, here are the two figures together. Some of the molding differences. The chests are way different. The legs are basically the same with some different paint, the crotch pieces and all. The arms are mostly the same, just different colors and different plastic. The transformation is all exactly the same. These parts back here, again, both form a front bumper, but they just look different. The main difference is, again, the parts forming shield. So that's going to be him right out of the way. And for what Ironhide comes with, he does have this shield piece. Again, it can come off and plug into any of the 5mm ports on his body. It has this really weird little feature, but I like it a lot. This peg back here where it connects, if you slide that forward, these like thruster things on the back are going to come out. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's supposed to be like thrusters on the back of the van mode or if they're gun barrels, but I don't know. I kind of just like imagining it as some close combat, like being cornered flamethrower that he breaks out on his shield. So it's just super goofy, but I don't know. I like that a lot. You can probably plug in the effects parts into that too. So that's just really silly. I think it's really fun. I'm gonna bring that back down. He does come with a standard little pistol as well, as opposed to the Siege figure that just came with the rocket launcher. But I do really like kind of loading him up. So here we've also got the drill gun that comes with the Centurion drone. Selects figure exclusive guy with the accessory pack. I like to give him that. And then also, if we're going to steal this from Siege Ironhide, just because it just fills it out. But I just really like loading him up. I like Ironhide being the weapons guy. So all that he comes with that kind of like riot shield looking thing, it's just really, really cool. I like this figure a lot, even if he's a little round and a little awkward in some areas when we get to his transformation. Ironhide's posability is really good. Again, it's just about akin to the Siege version. So his shoulders can rotate up and or 360 all the way around. They go in and out at that hinge. And there is this transformation hinge up here. You can get some wiggle or get some arch into the shoulders. The head's on a ball joint, but you don't get very much up and down movement out of it at all. Just a little bit of down. And you can spin it all the way around. His biceps, 360 swivel. You get that much elbow. Some wrist swivels. They're a little tight on mine. The waist, 360 degree spin movement thing. He has some really nice hinge legs, so the legs go forward and back real far. They go in and out. They're going to rotate 360 at the knee, or the thigh anatomy, whatever. You're going to bend at the knee, and you're going to get some ankle pivots. So you get some really fun, free-flowing movement out of him. Makes him very posable and emotive. Again, since it is mostly just like the Siege version, the transformation works mostly the same, except for the inclusion of this Riot Shield roof piece. So let's get that started. And here is Earth Mode Ironhide in his Earth mode. Here's the van, and again, kind of like I mentioned earlier, I just want to go ahead and cover it, get it out of the way. The awkward parts. You can see through my camera and how my light is picking it up, this isn't really a trick, but these are just very slightly different reds. There's about 3 different reds on this guy. There's a darker red that's kind of used in the feet and in some of the joints, which I think is fine. But then there's this darker red that throws in. And with the heavily like panel lined look of this black square sticking out, some translucent and just some unpainted windows, it kind of makes the Earth mode just look a little funky. So I can understand why some people don't really dig this. I think it's fine. I think it's serviceable. I'm not looking for the most realistic looking car ever, but might look into getting some stickers, painting these windows just to get somewhat of a more uniform look. So that's just really the awkwardness that I was referring to earlier. One thing I do really like from the transformation, to go ahead and compare him to his Siege counterpart here, these side panels on the Siege Ironhide, if you breathe on them, they'll fall off. But on the Earthrise version, they fixed that pretty well. So you can transform him without those exploding across the room. So here he is with Siege Ironhide and how they scale up together. And then also, Earthrise Ironhide does have some weapon storage for his gun. So van with gun, super realistic. I remember seeing these guys on the road all the time. So that pretty much is Earthrise Ironhide in his vehicle mode. I do like it. I think, again, it's serviceable. It's totally fine to me. I do get why some people dislike it, but might get some stickers or some wheels, because my biggest issue with this is kind of the fact that they just reuse the Cybertronian wheels. But other than that, I think it's totally fine. Some paint, maybe some new wheels, and I'll appreciate this guy pretty good. Oh, and then another thing that some people really hate is back here. Some gap fillers would be nice, because it's really odd to me that there is sculpted part top of this window, and it feels like they just abandoned redoing the feet back here. But again, I'm sure somebody's going to redo some feet for this if that's a big issue for you. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the other half of this set. And here we have Earthrise Prowl. Now, the difference between him and Ironhide mostly, Siege Ironhide and Earthrise Ironhide both have pros and cons as to why I don't really want to get rid of either of them. They both really serve a purpose, because they're both really nice toys. The Earthrise Prowl versus the Siege Prowl is just, in my mind, a drastic difference that fixes almost all the issues I had with the Siege version. So let's go ahead and get into that. We're going to straighten out Prowl here and get him with his pre-line brother, Siege Prowl. Now, just off the bat, I really do love the Siege Datsun mold. I think it's fantastic. I also have the Blue Streak version, but there was always just something a little off about it when compared to other figures, and looking at him next to Earthrise really tells me what that is. Also, mine has just, like, this knee over here just does not like to work properly, so forgive that. But it's just the fact that this doesn't look like a really full robot as compared to this. The chest on this is very, like, straight off and squared, where this one is more rounded. I appreciate that. And then also the legs. This one doesn't really have feet. It does, but it doesn't when compared to this. Like, the design already calls for really kind of roundish, awkward feet made of the back of the vehicle, which I think this one does do okay, but just comparatively, like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. So I think this guy looks nice. I think he's probably easier to handle. Some people have mentioned that this guy feels a little more fragile. I do see that because they both have translucent plastic in the knees. So if you're looking for something that's kind of more fun to fiddle with, Siege Prowl might be your thing. But I think in aesthetic and just overall look, the Earthrise one really improves just about every issue I have with this. Oh, and then another thing, the head sculpts. There are people who are switching out the head sculpts on these guys. Personally, I don't plan to do that. I understand that the Siege head sculpt is technically more accurate, but I much prefer the Earthrise head sculpt. I know it's the Blue Streak head sculpt, but hey, I don't mind because I really think it looks better than the Siege head sculpt and how the ball joints fit a little bit differently. So, for accessories, Prowl does not come with much, but he does not need much. He's got a gun here, which I've seen some instances of some folks breaking getting it out of the box because there's no twist tie, so be careful getting it out. But he's got a really nice rifle. This is the same rifle that comes with Smokescreen and Blue Streak, except this one is just casted in white plastic. So the articulation on this guy is super nice. He has a ball jointed head, so he can swivel all the way around, and he can get some pretty decent up and down movement out of it. The shoulders, you gotta watch out for the door wings, but the shoulders can rotate. They have the ability of rotating 360, and they've got a transformation hinge right here, but they've also got their main shoulder hinge right here. So kind of like Ironhide, because of the transformation, you can get some hunch in those shoulders, give him some more oomph in his stance. His biceps are gonna 360 all the way around. His elbows are gonna go up that much. He again has some swiveling wrists, pretty tight. His waist swivel, 360s. He's got these new segmented legs that they've been using on some of the Siege and Earthrise stuff, so his leg goes all the way up like this, backwards that much, gets a little bit stopped back there. The hinge in here goes in and out that much, gets some rotation at that thigh. The knee is super nice because of the transformation. It collapses in, so you get some great knee movement. And the foot is fully posable because you got some ankle pivot and some transformation tilt. So this guy has a fantastic range of movement. You can do just about anything you can with this that honestly that I found that you can do with the Masterpiece outside of the fingers articulating. Prowl's transformation again is a modified version of the Siege toy, so let's go ahead and just get that started. vehicle mode, his police car mode to be more specific. This guy again is really nice. It's a great update to the G1 toy / cartoon model. It's a little bit smaller than the Siege version. Let's go ahead and get him in there with his wide brother. So yeah, this again is really nice for kind of a space police car, and just really fills out all the changes. So this is more of a an example of very much shared engineering rather than direct retool, and you can really get that out of the vehicle mode side by side. So there is all of them back to back with your regular Prowl and your RoboCop version of Prowl. And again, he does have some vehicle mode gun storage. You just got to take the gun, plug it into the top of his light bar, and there it is. So I really do enjoy this vehicle mode. I think it's really nice. The paint is really good. I would kind of like some maybe some Reaper labels to put a couple more details on the door, just because I'm like that, and I really do like the molded detailing in the back windshield piece. So I think this looks great. I think Prowl is really good, and I do think that Ironhide, if I can grab him, is also really good. I love this set a lot. I think it's wonderful. I think that two of these together, they make a good set. They both died in the '86 movie, so it's kind of ironic, and they just fill out really, really nice together. Really nice complementary set. So if you have any other questions about these guys, maybe something I did not cover in this video, please feel free to leave a comment in the section down below. I'll get back to that as soon as I can, so keep it right here for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching.